Most people think of financial independence as an all or nothing thing. You either have it or you don't. And that kind of black and white thinking can hold you back a bit because financial independence doesn't happen overnight. It happens gradually over time. Every time you pay down debt, save another $1,000, or invest in your future, you move one step closer. You become a little more financially independent than you were the day before. And make no mistake about it, there's very real power in progress. The goal isn't just to reach the end of the spectrum, but to keep moving along it, because every step you make gets you closer to more control and more freedom. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Erin and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to go through the full spectrum of financial independence, the stages most of us go through on our way to financial freedom. And I'm not just going to go through it from a financial perspective, because you also have a mindset that evolves. Because this journey isn't just about numbers, it's also about growth and confidence and the freedom that comes from truly being in control of your life. Stage number 1, financial dependence. At this stage, you're relying on others, parents, a partner, or even credit cards to cover your living expenses. And truthfully, this is where everyone starts. It's kind of like ground zero. You have no financial cushion yet, and at this point, it kind of feels like money is something that happens to you. It's not really something you direct yet. The key mindset here is awareness. At some point, we all realize that no one's going to come along and rescue us financially. And while that may be uncomfortable, it's also empowering because awareness is the first step to taking control of your money. The goal at this stage isn't perfection. Well, let's be honest, the goal at no stage is perfection, but the goal here is clarity. You're really laying the foundation for what's coming next. Track where your money is coming from, where it's going, and what you truly need to live on each month. When you see your money, you can start to shape it. And understanding what is happening with your money is one of the most powerful skill sets you can ever build. It turns money from something mysterious into something measurable. And once it's measurable, that's something you can manage. If you're in this stage, focus on small wins. Write down every expense for a week, not to judge, just to observe. Open your bank app daily, even for 30 seconds, to build familiarity instead of fear. Because this is how financial independence really begins. Not with a big paycheck, not with a perfect plan, just the simple act of paying attention. And that spark can change everything. Stage 2, partial self-support. This is the stage where you start paying some of your own bills, maybe your own rent, your phone, or your car insurance. You're not fully self-sufficient yet, but you're building momentum, and that matters more than you might realize. You might not see huge financial progress on paper, but psychologically, it's enormous. Being able to stand on your own 2 feet, even partially or part of the time, is a big deal. And this is really where you start to build confidence in your own financial journey. At this point, you have earned control. You make a payment, and suddenly you realize, hey, I did that. It's not the dollar amount, it's an identity shift. You're moving from the scarcity mindset of, I can't afford this, to a learning mindset where you say, I'm figuring out how to do this. And that phrase, figuring it out, is important because it takes money from something you might fear to something you can improve. The goal at this stage is simple. Take control of just one more area of your finances, whether that's taking on one more bill or building up a safety cushion. That may sound like a minor step, but it all compounds. Every bill you take over, every cushion you build, builds your sense of capability. If you're in this stage, try a few small challenges. Save your first $100, label it proof that you can create stability. Automate one reoccurring bill so it's paid by you. No reminders, no hand-holding. Track one expense category just to see how it moves throughout your life. Financial independence is not built in leaps. It is built in layers, and this is the stage where you start to stack those layers on top of each other, one responsible decision at a time. Stage 3, full self-sufficiency. At this point, you're covering all of your own expenses. You may not feel wealthy, but you feel like you're in control, and that control, that ability to stand on your own 2 feet is a major milestone. Financially, the metrics here are modest but meaningful. You're saving about 10 to 15% of your income. You've built at least 1 month of an emergency fund. Any debt you have is manageable, not something that keeps you up at night, and you're making consistent investment contributions, even if it's just capturing your employer's 401k match. The real hallmarker of this stage isn't the number, it's the mindset shift. You move from a place where you might fear money a little bit to having confidence. Confidence that you can control your own financial life. You're not waiting on a raise or someone to rescue you or some type of windfall. You know that you're steering the ship. Also, this is the stage where your thinking starts to expand. Rather than asking, how do I make it through this month? You might be asking, how do I prepare for next year? And at this point, you're building your financial life rather than reacting to it. It might be easy to overlook this stage because it doesn't feel glamorous. You're still saving, you're still budgeting, you're still saying no to things you can't afford. But this is a very important milestone. This is really where you're laying a solid foundation. You have structure rather than chaos. If you're here, start using your money with purpose. Build a simple spending plan that reflects your priorities, not just your bills. Create automatic transfers into savings or investments so progress happens without constant effort. And track your net worth. For the first time, not to judge, but to measure growth. This is the turning point between surviving and building. You've proven to yourself that you're capable of building your future. This shift from survivor to builder is one of the most important shifts you make in personal finance. You move from hoping things will get better to actually taking the steps to making them better. Stage 4, early stability. This is the stage where you finally start to breathe easier. You've built a safety net, your bills are predictable, and for the first time, money feels steady, not like something that could disappear overnight. Financially, you're in a strong rhythm. You're saving roughly 15 to 20% of your income. You've built an emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. You've paid down or eliminated most high-interest debt, and you're investing regularly, whether that's through a Roth IRA, a 401k, or an automatic contribution every month. Again, one of the biggest shifts at this stage isn't just financial, it's psychological. You move from scarcity to stability. You're no longer just reacting to financial emergencies, you're preparing for them. You're anticipating life as it happens and before it happens. And this is really the stage where peace of mind starts to replace stress. You have a sense of stability, and that stability changes the way you think. Rather than asking, what if something goes wrong? You start asking, what do I want to do next? Early stability is about building systems that protect you. It's not necessarily about doing more, it's about doing things smarter with your money. Automate your savings so your progress continues without constant willpower. Review your insurance, your budget, and your investments once or twice a year, not obsessively, but intentionally. And begin setting goals with purpose. Travel, a home, a business idea, something that reminds you why you're doing all of this. Emotionally, this is really where money starts to work for you. You have momentum, you have breathing room, and you kind of trust in yourself financially. And that trust is something that's pretty powerful because it means you're no longer trying to get out of a hole, you're trying to build something that lasts. Stage 5, mid-level independence. This is the stage most people describe as comfortable. Your financial foundation is strong and reliable. You're saving roughly 25 to maybe 30% of your income. You have 6 to 12 months of living expenses set aside, and you're debt-free. Your investment portfolio may now equal your annual income. The most important shift for this stage isn't on the balance sheet. It's a shift in power. You now have options. You can walk away from a toxic job without worrying about what will happen next or how you'll cover your bills. You can take a sabbatical from work. You can say no to things simply because it doesn't align with your values. The security you've built translates into choice, and this is where freedom really starts to take shape. Psychologically, your mindset changes again. Up until now, progress has been about maximizing money. At this stage, it becomes about maximizing time. You start weighing every decision not by how much it costs, but rather how much of your lifetime it takes away or how much of your lifetime it gives back. When you upgrade your life, you do so intentionally, not because of appearances. Again, we circle back to confidence. You have a deeper sense of confidence. Financial stress doesn't really dominate your thoughts anymore. Instead, you have a quiet sense of control. You plan, you adjust, you course correct. You no longer feel like everything could fall apart overnight. Now's the time to really lean into this freedom you've worked so hard to build. Use your financial breathing room to explore work that feels meaningful, not just profitable. Reinvest some of your energy into health, relationships, or creativity, the things that money was always meant to protect. And revisit your goals. They may have evolved or changed over time. What once sounded like success might now sound like peace. Mid-level independence is really where financial independence starts to feel real. It's not about never working again, but rather it's about building a life that you don't need to escape from. And once you experience that, every choice you have going forward gets filtered through the question of, is this helping me build the life I want? Stage 6, advanced independence. By now, your money is working hard for you. You've built real wealth, and the systems you've put into place are producing results without you having to do daily effort. Financially, this stage often looks like maybe saving 40% or more of your income, keeping a full year of living expenses in cash or easily accessible reserves, and having enough passive income from investments, rental properties, or a business to cover half or more of your everyday costs. Here, the mindset shift goes from accumulation to autonomy, and you really move towards aligning your money with the life you want. The goal is to build a life that is meaningful to you. This is where you start asking deeper questions. What do I actually want my days to look like? How do I want to spend my time? What truly matters to me now that survival isn't the goal? Here you might trial a partial retirement. Maybe you scale back on your hours, maybe you scale up the creative projects or scale up your time with family and friends. And really, the shift goes from earning more to experiencing more life. You also start thinking about purpose. When money no longer dictates your choices, you begin to design a life around your values, whether that is contribution, freedom, health, creativity, relationships, you name it. You realize that time is the ultimate dividend your investments pay. Here you're wealthy enough to sort of set your own rules, but you're also wise enough to know that the next stage can bring you even more freedom. Stage 7, complete freedom. This is the summit, the point where your assets and your income streams are more than enough to sustain your life indefinitely. Work truly becomes optional. You're no longer working for your money is working for you. What's fascinating is that for most people who reach this stage, they realize that financial independence isn't about never working again. It's about choosing what matters most to you. Fulfillment doesn't come from the complete absence of responsibility. Rather, it's about choosing what aligns with your time, your values, and your purpose. At this level, the behavioral shift is pretty profound. You move from independence to interdependence. Your focus expands beyond yourself. You start thinking about impact, generosity, and legacy. You use your time, your wealth, and experience to make a difference. You support causes you care about, and you help those you love maybe reach financial stability you worked so hard for. Financially, your streams are self-sustaining. Your investments can sustain you for decades upon decades. And hopefully, you've learned what feels like enough, rather than constantly just chasing the next higher dollar amount. Complete freedom isn't about escaping work or responsibility. It's about creating a life where everything you do is a conscious choice. It's not just about building wealth, it's about building a life that feels whole. As you can see, financial independence isn't one big leap. It's a gradual climb. Each stage builds on the one before it. The numbers change, yes, but the real transformation happens in how you think. You move from avoidance to awareness, from fear to confidence, from simply earning money to keep taking small, intentional steps that move you closer to freedom, choice, and peace of mind. Financial independence isn't a finish line, it's a spectrum, and you make progress one step at a time. Every dollar saved, every debt paid down, every time you choose stability over impulse, You grow in your sense of freedom. Now, you may not feel that freedom every step along the way, but if you're making progress, you are inching closer. The real power in financial independence isn't just the money, it's the mindset shift that happens along the way. You go from reacting to money, to controlling money, to creating stability, and to eventually learning what feels like enough. Your relationship with money truly evolves over time, and eventually you see that it's just there to support the life you want to live. And every decision you make along the way matters, whether you're at the beginning or towards the end of the spectrum. So what are your thoughts on financial independence, and where do you think you fall? Leave your thoughts in a comment down below. I post new videos every single week. If you got anything at all out of this one, please give it a like. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, or if you know of someone who might get something out of this type of content, please consider sharing. I'll see you soon. Bye. I don't like it. Well, that idea might be, I shouldn't laugh. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. The key mindset here is awareness. Dying over here. Paying. I'm trying. Hey, Peanut, stop. For the first time. I heard it. What the heck is that? Backlight portrait. Why is it switching from portrait to backlight? Is the sun doing something that I'm unaware of? I don't know. Nailed it. 47th try.